I'm sorry, guys. I was just trying to have fun. I was just trying to roleplay while you go shopping for the 5th time this session. Don't blame me. Today we got another Legend of the Five Rings RPG Samurai School Guide and Review from Courts of Stone, the Deer Clan sourcebook. Shika Speardancer School. They are part Bushi, part Shinobi. I'm not supposed to say that. Spoilers, because the Speardancers, they're sort of the antlers of the Deer Clan, the head and the antlers, the two-part. The antlers, they protect the Deer Clan with their spears and their swirling typhoon in the bamboo grove spear style, and their main function is to be part assassin, part bodyguard, but secret bodyguard. We'll get more into that in a minute. To the rest of the world, they're just humble, fair, neutral messengers. Need a letter delivered to a loved one, or sort of like a diplomatic kind of thing, Deer Clan will do it. They're just humble, they're fair, everyone likes Deer Clan. You know, they kind of remind me of George R.R. Martin's description of Littlefinger, or as I like to say, just Littlefinger, and not the TV show Littlefinger, where everyone talks about how obviously evil and untrustworthy he is. Littlefinger has no friends. No, he actually does have. The point is that everyone is his friends because he's just so good at manipulating people. He doesn't seem like a master manipulator if everyone knows, like the audience, that he's manipulating everyone. I don't even need to read the books to know that that was stupid. Anyway, Deer Clan are sort of like Littlefinger in a way, but maybe less malicious. Shika Speardancers, humble messengers. That's all they are. Just humble messengers of the very neutral and fair Deer Clan that anyone can trust. There's a bit more going on under the surface than that. More so than with the Shika matchmakers, because as I said, part ninja, part bodyguard. They assassinate people when need be in order to keep the balance of power, and they protect people from being assassinated in order to keep the balance of power. That makes for some really interesting gameplay. If you have to assassinate someone, you just plan it and then you do it. Alright, fair enough. Could be fine, could be fun, but pretty simple and straightforward. If you have to bodyguard someone, you're just near them and you protect them. But that's not what they do. They have to secretly bodyguard someone. They have to remain like sort of neutral and fair and balanced, and no one can know that these messengers are actually traveling assassins/assassin protectors, or protectors out from assassins. Bodyguards. Secret bodyguards. How do you do that? How do you arrange it so that you are always near your target in order to best protect them without them knowing that that's what you're there to do? That's a really great concept. I love that. It just introduces really interesting gaming concepts. Like, for one, in general for Deer Clan, it really fits to have the GM give like messages to the player from Deer Clan. These are your orders. You're supposed to assassinate this person or protect this person. But really, best interest of the group is that the opposite happens. So you have this counter thing going on, which is really neat. But also, that may not always be the case. You have this really great gameplay and, like, trying to be friendly with someone, to be a part of their entourage. Maybe you're posed as a peasant or just as a messenger, and you end up playing a game with someone who you need to protect, and you've done the research to sort of figure out, like, maybe they're a really sore loser and they like to win, and so you lose on purpose at a game without them knowing. Or the exact opposite. They're sort of a higher up kind of, I mean, they're samurai, they're all higher up kind of people, but they're sick of being coddled. Most of the people around them cuddle them, so if you crush them in a game, they might actually respect you and like the challenge, and, oh my god, this person is treating me like a human being kind of a situation. And then they bring you in as part of their crew, their like entourage sort of thing. Oh, what do you, messenger? Can I hire you a bit to be my private messenger through the courts or whatever? Or point is, he brings you in, and now you're part of his circle and near him, so you can keep your eye on him. Or that could fail, that could not work, right? And so maybe you have to do the same thing, but with someone else who is sort of also kind of close-ish to him, so you have to be part of this one character's entourage while keeping an eye on this other person who's your actual target, because you failed initially trying to get in good with them, or whatever the case may be, disguises you have to do, or manipulations you have to do to just be close to them for a set period of time so you can bodyguard them when need be. That a lot of interesting gameplay that could happen from that. I like that. Let's talk about the mechanics, which actually brings up other interesting gameplay on the opposite end. Okay, so Typhoon and the Bamboo Grove, their school ability. When making certain checks, not just a combat check, but also a more athletic fitness kind of a check, you can add some status effect onto an enemy because of your style and how you do things. It's very athletic and graceful and spinny with your spear. Typically it's more of a combat thing, but in this case not necessarily a combat thing. So we get some good crowd control with that. And actually, if you get the, the Kamayari is one of your optional starting polearms. It's a new thing, which, in addition to having some cool story stuff in the description, which may or may not actually affect mechanics, but it fits a traveling messenger / undercover ninja, but also mechanically. It does slightly less damage than a Yari, but there's an extra status effect on top of it. Gives you more crowd control in addition to your school ability. Good mesh there. Go with the Kamayari over the regular Yari, it's way cooler. Okay, enough about equipment. The school ability. So, not only when attacking, you can add some status effects onto people. That's cool. It's always good to have an extra thing to do in combat. Nice and useful. But because it can also be part of a fitness check, you can do some really creative assassination stuff right under people's noses. Like you're with someone who you're supposed to be protecting, and maybe the group thinks you're protecting this person. But the Deer Clan decided this one's got to go, right? And so there's this opposing thing where you have to go against the group secretly. Well, let's say you're all running, if you're being chased, or you're just... Let's have a race up the cliffside. We'll do a race. You and your buddy, who you've worked your way in to be part of their entourage or whatever. Let's do a race up the cliffside. It'll be fun. And it'll keep them busy. I don't know, give me something to do while you guys are off doing this. I have nothing to do here. I'm just babysitting this guy, I gotta do something. Okay, I'll do a race with him. It just changes things up a bit, and we're kind of got a competitive relationship. It's role-playing. I'm not doing anything suspicious. Shut up. Shut your hole. Anyway, you're doing your race along a dangerous cliffside or wet rock by waterfall, kind of whatever, jumping over a small canyon ravine. Whatever precarious situation your race is going through, do your fitness check. Maybe even send a little note to the GM previously. Can I do a fitness check? And secretly spend opportunity results to put on a condition onto him which would distract him enough to fall to his death, maybe? I don't know if mechanically it would naturally work out that way, but it makes enough sense to where, as a GM, I would allow it. That's some creative stuff right here. I maybe just be tooting my own horn, but I think that's really neat to secretly, because you're so dazzling and flashy in your spinny acrobatic stuff as you're climbing, leaping over the ravine, and he's right alongside you. He's distracted, and oh no, and he falls to his death. Oh no, the guy I was supposed to protect. I'm sorry, guys. I was just trying to have fun. I was just trying to roleplay while you go shopping for the 5th time this session. Don't blame me. But really, you're just, yes. Because you did your target over. Right under their players' noses. I love that. The friendly-ish sort of passive-aggressive, that's what I'm looking for. The potential for passive-aggressive PvP in this game is wonderful. Anyway, let's talk about building your Shika Speardancer. Like the other one, the Matchmaker, you're going to end up with a 3-3 build, I think is probably the best way to go. 3 in air, deception a big part, and also offense very big for you. So fire is probably the way to go. You could make a case for going... getting an extra rank in water if you want instead of the fire, I guess, if you want. There is kind of a cool ninja technique later on which will work with that, but I would go with fire. It's just better. You could always level up your water later eventually, right? It's only one technique that really stands out. For the most part, you're going to be big on deception, and also when you're talking to people, appealing to emotion. That's what fire is good at, and that covers most bases, right? Most talking things you want to do. You can either appeal to emotions, and whoever that wouldn't work on, you think that wouldn't work on because you sort of analyzed who they are as a person, well then you could just straight up lie to them. Lying works on everyone, assuming you're good enough with it, which you'll probably be really good with it. So yeah, I think the 3 air, 3 fire is best. If you're only going to have one, I'd 3 in air and have a very defensive fighting style, always being in that air stance and just being really hard to hit. But yeah, I really like fire. Especially because you'll be a pretty great combatant, and with all those status effects. As far as which kata to choose, we have a fire and air kata. I really can't make a great case for either one over the other. They're both good, and just get the other one later. Then again, I mean, if you are getting a 3 in fire like I recommend, when you could just as easily get a 3 in air and a 2 in fire and be okay. You might as well use the fire for offense, at which point get the fire kata. Do whatever feels best for you. Do you like a more defensive air style or more offensive, and whatever fits your character, however you see him. As far as the starting skills, well, we're not a Shugenja, so we don't have to make as many tough choices. We get to choose 5 skills out of the 7, and can we double up? We can double up on 2 of them, and you know, you kind of might as well. They fit sort of a manipulative character. They would definitely come in handy. So it can't hurt. But, you know, combat is going to be a big part of your character The martial arts combat skills are going to be a priority. Fitness, because some techniques, most katas are like a martial arts skill of some type of weapon, but some of them are also fitness. Those are kind of a priority with any, bushi warrior type school. And of course, the skullduggery and stuff for ninja-ing. Those are probably what I would focus on the most, though 2 of the ones from our starting skills are actually part of our rank 1 curriculum. So as I said before, maybe you don't need to focus on those as much. Although one of them you're gonna get probably a lot more use out of with this kind of character than the other. It depends. Oh, and the rank 6 ability, like the Shika Matchmaker, it really is just sort of a better version of the core ability. That's not always the case, right? Like exactly what you do, but just even better. It's even more offensive, but more critical focused. Anyway, that is it for today. If you like this video and want to see more, I should be doing the review of this book soon. I'll come back for that. But you'll know for sure by checking out my Patreon. We'll have schedules and thumbnails and all that previews. And vote on future content, blah, blah, blah. All right, bye.